you've grown beyond. Growth is part of it. Development is part of it, right? And then when you also see that you're dissatisfied with where you are, I wouldn't want to start with finances. Finances may not really be it. That's
no
not
money.
Yes, but then there is also another thing you must consider, right? It is only noble for you to consider that. Try to see that you've made such an impact that when you left or when you leave, at least there is some sort of continuity. Because building up the ladder, right? They say don't abandon those you passed on the way up, right? Because you never know. You just never know, right? So yes, it comes from that place to know that there is some other person, who is there. That way, you move with ease.
All right.
Move with ease.
Yes.
Right.
Now, I happen to have a mentor who said one time that you understand the degree to which you are valuable by your ability to do what you do and the difficulty in replacing you. Now, there are questions that you would ask yourself on the journey to self-discovery. Like, who am I, right? What do I have? I've said it here many times. Who am I? What do I have? What do I need that I don't have? And how can I develop what I already have? These are questions that you ask yourself, on a journey to self-discovery. But let's hear you. Now, you talked about passion. You talked about passion. If I get that correctly, you said something about discovering your passion. Let's get profiting from your passion. So a lot of us just have this passion and we're like, this is my job, but this is my passion.
Right.
I'm not doing this one for money. I just enjoy doing it. And this is my job. We separate earning or we separate getting reward from our passion. So what do you think? How do you think we can profit from our passion?
Okay, talking about profiting from your passion, it's a process. I like people to understand that everything in life, it's a process. Anything you see anyone just do, it doesn't just happen automatically. First of all, it is identifying that passion, identifying that. And you may be like, oh, I don't have a passion. So I'm talking to you if you feel like, oh, you've not yet discovered that passion. First of all, know there's something. There's no one who is useless. There's no one who is passionless. There's no one who is talentless. There's no one who does not have potential. There's something in you, but it's just that you've not activated it. So the first point is activating. How do you activate it? It is, I tell to people there's something I call DJDE. It's a process that helps you get to a point of discovery of yourself, your talent, your passion. And that is, I say, first of all, date yourself. You need to come to that point. We spend a lot of time with so many persons that we don't spend enough time with ourselves. And it's just like a relationship. If you enter a relationship, the process of people getting to a point where they finally say, oh, we're meant to be together, it takes a process of dating, it takes a process of communication.
Well, you can bank on that.
Well, you can bank on that because Maki just got married, so you can bank on that. So, yes, just like it takes that process before people get to that point and say, oh, we're married. That's the same thing. People need to learn how to intentionally date themselves because at the point of dating yourself, you're asking yourself, what are those things I like? What are those things I don't like? What are those things I can do if no one even pays me a dime? And at that point, by the time you've identified those things, you may not identify that first. That's why the next thing I would also talk about, all of them works hand by hand. So you date yourself, you journal a lot, you develop and you explore. For example, before I got to this point where I am, I have taken through, there was a point in my life where I played football. So I recently spoke on TEDx and I spoke on how personal development sparks collective transformation. And I was telling them about discovery as well as the first point of starting. And I said when I was discussing, I did not even mention to them that I played. It was when I was discussing with my mom. My mom said, did you forget that you played football at some point? I'm like, it's true. I did not even mention that. There was a time I played football. There was a time I was very interested in music. I was learning guitar. I learned keyboard. I liked rap song. I could rap. I had this Dixman that I have a lot of music that I could rap. I loved the radio so much. I listened to radio. And from that point, I moved to another point where I started making peanuts. I was making peanuts. I was selling. And then later on, when I got into school, I discovered that, okay, I mean, from the background I had been exposed to a club where I was doing presenting and all that, I noticed I have this I don't have stage fright. People are always afraid of that. But did you see that it took me years? And that's why I'm so very passionate for people to discover early. Because when you discover early, it now takes you time to process, because no one buys a crude material. The fact that you're passionate about something, I mean, does not mean I should give you my money. You know, just give me my money. I can't give you my money because you're passionate about something. There has to be value addition to that passion to convert it to a point where it can pay you. And it takes process. So if you're someone who have already discovered, so I've talked to people who have not yet discovered their passion. So follow through that process, explore, try so many things. And when you try, the only thing that happened, that I started trying this is while I was a teenager. Now for you now, you're out of university and you don't have the luxury of time to keep trying all
so
these
many
things. What you should now do is focus on a skill that can pay you at the moment, and still nurture that passion, because that passion is what keeps you alive. One thing I've noticed, I'm writing a book, Before You Follow Your Dreams, currently, and some of the things I'm saying is, one thing I've noticed is that people, at the point I advocate for people, because I've also practiced. Every time I've worked as, my journey is plenty. I can't talk. It's long. I can't talk about all of them, but know that it takes a process. So I've talked about, for people who have not discovered the passion, embrace that discovery process. Try out things, explore, and then if you're at the point where you've discovered something but it's not yet paying, I would say keep adding value to that thing. If you're already at the point where you need money, because if you're done with university or you're currently doing your NYSC, you need money. You can't come to your parents and say, give me money. Passion will not pay you at that point. So look for what people say side hustle, but I don't want you to treat it as a side hustle. Become excellent at that thing.
Before you go on, we all know Rihanna, the big Rihanna we see everywhere. Now, I was listening to an interview where she said she never wanted to be a musician. She has always wanted to be a beautician, where she would make cosmetics and all of that. Look at the number of years it took Rihanna to sing and be Rihanna. Now she influences for her brand. Fenty Beauty is a big name.
A big name.
You know, before you get their lipstick, you have to save money to get that. But she didn't abandon what she could do at that time. What was her passion, or what was her skill at that time. She didn't abandon it to pursue cosmetics, because at the time when she was Rihanna, she was reigning and all of that, cosmetics wasn't the big deal at then. The time helped her. You know, I always will tell people that time builds character. Time builds perseverance. It gives you more wisdom and knowledge to be able to fit into where you're looking at being in a couple of years' time. And that's why I quite resonate with that. The journey is long.
It's long.
Some of us might not even look like what we have had to do to survive in the, you know, we might not even sound like it. This English is sweet. English does not tell you the gutters people have been through just to get to a certain point. It's just that when you get to that point, you have to refine yourself, and that's why personal development is very important. I'll leave you to keep up.
Well, in that light too, let me shed some light, you know, in another aspect. There are some people who have discovered their passion, but they are too afraid or too ashamed to embrace it. I know this is what I have to do, but because either parental influence, societal influence, maybe religious influence too, makes them say, you know what, I don't think it's appropriate. Now, as long as that drive, that thing in you that, you know, resonates in your inner mind, is telling you that, look, this is what you have to become, is not something that is antisocial. It's not something that will put you behind bars, right? It's something that indeed you enjoy doing, then it is your passion. And like she said, which I would agree, when you've identified it, right, be able to work on it, keep working, keep developing it. Because the truth is, somebody says, I don't want to take this all religious, but somebody once said that, what's this guy's name now? In the grades of Rihanna now.
Beyonce?
Beyonce, God bless your heart. Now, Beyonce now, somebody said, oh, she was doing gospel, oh, suddenly look at what she's singing now and everything. One day this her voice will not come through. I said, come on, excuse you.
She's built capacity. So
she's built it like
built capacity.
She kept at it. She's keeping at it. She's still rehearsing. She's still giving so much time, you know, to be better than the last Beyonce she was. She will keep soaring higher and higher. So it's the same thing. Now, for some other persons who have not really identified their passion. There are some people who have not
Yeah.
identified their passion.
Yeah. True.
Please don't be afraid to try out.
True,
Do
true.
tryouts.
Try out. And then,
Try
you know,
outs.
you mentioned something I wanted to, touch a bit.
All right.
Most times people think that, so passion is not just, passion is an offshoot. When you see a fruit, fruit comes from a tree, and
Okay.
the tree has branches. So
Yeah.
passion is more like an offshoot
Okay.
of something that is deeper. Because I believe that when people, you may be listening and you feel like I have this passion, and that's why I'm so keen. I really want people to understand that beyond just passion, there's a purpose for your life.
Yeah.
Passion is that thing that spurs you up, that gives you a sign towards
Never
okay,
get tired of doing it.
Exactly, but it's also linked somehow to your purpose.
Yes.
And you must understand that your purpose is not just about you, it's about other
Other
people.
people.
Because I'm saying this because there are people who, I work with people who are, they're already at that point where they're comfortable. Like, there's no need for me to follow this passion again, or this thing that looks like it's going to impact others. But imagine that there is someone, there's a very story I like so much, that someone was born blind and he met, let me go biblical, he met Jesus. And he was told that, and his disciples asked him, why was this man, why isn't his father's sin? This man did not do anything. And he said it was just for the name of God to be glorified. I want to let you know that there are people who are in different levels of either poverty or either in different levels of obscurity.
Right.
And they are waiting for you to shine your light. So that passion that you're playing with might be something that would uplift that person
Somebody else.
somewhere else in another state. So it's a web that is interconnected. So
Right.
don't feel like because I already have money, your life is not just about the money you have.
Purpose.
There's a purpose for your life. And when you know that purpose is not just about yourself, there's someone else who is tied to you, it will make you together, because when you already have money, it's now easier for you to even fulfill purpose. So that's why I tell you, money is important. It's important, but people now get money and they settle, and they're like,
They relax.
let's club,
Yeah,
let's
you know,
enjoy, let's
yes.
flex. But that's when the work actually
Yes,
starts.
you know how you say that people are somewhere for a reason.
Yep.
I never play with that phrase. I'm always very conscious of the fact that there's something I'm doing that I don't think
has
I'm
a
just,
ripple effect.
Yes, and
Yes.
I don't just think I'm here.
Yes.
I take that's why Uduak might say you are too serious, but I think I don't know. I take it as a responsibility.
Yes.
Right.
There's a reason I'm here, and until I find that reason, I'll keep at doing what I'm doing and doing it well. Now we saw. I don't know how many of us saw that video where the Black Maria in Lagos. I think I've talked about that story a lot. Or sometime last week or so, last 2 weeks, the Black Maria was conveying maybe criminals or maybe prisoners from one point to another. And then this guy who sells gala in traffic sees this Black Maria and then goes under and starts putting some of his gala through the window, giving the prisoners, people that he has never met before. The ripple effect of that action was everybody in traffic who could not come down to give these people. I was going out, I didn't know I was going to meet somebody, or I was going to meet a Black Maria today. But because of the action of that one person, everybody, people who were in their vehicles and couldn't, come out to give, they were honking their vehicles. People were collecting donations and buying gala and buying stuff and giving to people in the Black Maria. Maybe that's the only reason that guy was in traffic that day.
Right.
That's the only reason. To spark something up. That's a very little thing, but it spoke to a lot of people in different ways. Empathy. Like we have it somewhere within us.
Right.
And it only takes somebody else to be able to spark that emotion for you to realize that you have that within you somewhere. So just a call to everyone listening out there. Every phase of your life means that you have a responsibility. And I saw a podcast where the lady says, if you keep recycling a particular phase of your life, it probably means there's a lesson there to be learned that you haven't. Or there's an assignment there to be carried out that you have not been able to carry out effectively.
Just to add to what you said, right? When a purpose or passion is driven by purpose and all of that, the economic woes will not be an issue at that point in time. Yeah? Your family history and background will be fizzled out at that point in time. every other thing that may have become a problem that you've been able to manage through as a challenge, they become inconsequential. Now, why am I saying this? The Black Maria thing you said. At that point, people didn't think, oh, this is a harsh economy. Oh, things are very hard.
Me
and all of
first.
that, me first. Everybody now started thinking outside themselves, right? What can we do to put, a solution, put a smile and do, that's just what it is.
All right.
So one way or the other, we are a web of people living interwovenly.
All right. Now, very important to note that. So let's ask. You were talking about the things you should note before following your dreams.
Okay.
Because yes, I agree that people have had to go through different. In fact, I never knew what I wanted to do. Like I think I did. I wrote something.
Okay. Something
I don't know if
down.
it's gonna be published or something. But one of the things I wrote down there was the fact that so many times we don't really get the clear picture from the start of the journey.
True.
It's just like an athlete, or like, how is he called? He doesn't know how the race is going to end. All he knows is I need to put forth my energy or my strength to ensure that I get to the finish line.
Right.
How I will get to the finish line, I do not know. So many times people come back to it themselves. Am I really doing? It's okay to ask yourself these questions.
It's okay. Very, very okay.
But before following these dreams, what do you think are some of the things that people should put in place?
Okay, there's a lot, but I like, she said something. I wrote a book called Flip the Switch: How to Move from Confusion to Clarity. And one thing I said is action begets clarity. But when integrated science, when we were in high school, we learned about kinetic and potential energy. And they said potential energy is energy in state. But for that energy to become kinetic energy, an action has to be acted on it.
Yes.
And then when action is taken, it is converted to kinetic energy. Now the same thing is, if you're confused, rather than just say, oh, let us just sit here and wallow in confusion, starting something like saying, I would say it's good to start with clarity. But sometimes, even if you're confused, take a step. Either ask question, or the first thing that comes to your mind, try to act on it. And then somehow, as you keep moving, you see, when you look back, they said when you look back, you connect the dots. You can't connect the dot going forward, but most times when you look back, you now see, oh, this is even why all these things happen. So for that, I would say take action, but while still seeking clarity. But if you're at that point where you're saying, I have this dream, what should I do before? There are a lot of things to do. People just think that, I listen to a lot of motivational speakers are not our problems in Nigeria. I want to say that, and I want to say it again. Motivational speakers are not your problem, okay? And if they say something, you need to, even as I'm speaking to you, you need to take things in context. It may not apply to you at the level where you are. But if you've listened to those speakers, somehow they've inspired you to get past a particular stage. They are not the ones that now made you.
But they cannot help you sustain what you have picked from their
and
message.
they're not the ones that. There's so many factors. So a lot of motivational speakers have always said, follow your dreams. I've listened to them. Follow your dreams, dream big, and the rest of it. But thinking about it, I know that I'm an advocate for people to follow their dreams. But before there are things you need to put in place. And there are so many of them. One of them we just talked about is sometimes there's something called scaffolds. When you're erecting a story building, and sometimes they put scaffolds. Scaffolds are those temporal things you put as structure to help it give balance before. Sometimes you need to put scaffolds. Scaffolds are like part-time jobs, something that can sustain you, because that dream that you're following, you gotta eat something before.
Bills have got to be paid.
Exactly. Another thing is, a lot of people don't know the place of converting those dreams to skills. And when I talk about dreams are not the things that you just see when you're sleeping. They are just desires. I call them desires. Those things that you want to do to either make the world a better place or to even make your life a better place. Now, so if you have a dream of that sort, what are the skills that are a bit in line with those things? Because those are the places. For example, I have always wanted to speak. I want to help. I want to inspire people. I want to help young people discover purpose and all that and all that and all that. But I didn't just jump into that. I had to come back. Okay, I asked myself, I studied education, and someone like me should be in the classroom teaching. But as I was studying, I just knew that there is more, even though I love teaching, but it's not in the classroom. And I started looking at, okay, what skills? I noticed that talking is one of my biggest gifts. How do I add value to this? And then when I even got to NYSC, I'm not someone who is handy, like when it comes to baking and all that. I am more, I like to say I'm a bit of an intellectual. I like strategy, I like mind. And I said, okay, when we're doing Saeed is that thing where everyone picks a skill
where
and then
people
they
sleep.
learn.
Most people sleep.
So when they said pick a skill that we want to learn, I looked, I said, what is in line with that thing? If I like speaking, that means people would want to either listen to what I'm saying. At that point, I was already doing a video series on Facebook and all that. And then I had to go learn photography and videography. And I submitted, while I was still working in NTA, I was learning photography, I was learning videography. We will go shoot. And while I was learning that skill, it was now also helping me market that my vision of that my dream of talking to people, because I was creating content on social media. And by the time I was done, another thing is utilizing social. You need to sell. You need to sell that dream. You need to be carry it on your head. You need to sell it. A lot of times you think that you're waiting for people to come to you, and because if you tell people that I have a dream to, people will clap for you. Exactly. No, you need to know how to sell that dream. I can give a lot of instances as an MC. I remember I had never seen a lady anchor event by the time I thought I was going to anchor event. I had not seen a lady. So in my mind, I thought I was the first girl who was going to anchor it. Until I went on social media. But there was something daring I did when I just finished university and I was waiting for NYSC. I entered Anambra State for my convocation, and I saw a big billboard that has Anambra Talent Show. I looked, I said, I want to anchor this event. Even before then, there was something I did. I just came back to Abuja. I don't even have this experience that I have now. I gathered the numbers of all the event planners I could find on on Google. And I was calling them one after the other. I was like, hello, my name is Mahad.
Very familiar.
I want to anchor your event.
God gracious.
I called like 20 persons. Nobody gave me an event to anchor. But it did not still deter me. I was hungry. Another thing, taking action in line with that. And then I got to Anambra State. I saw this billboard. I said, I want to anchor this event. Somebody who did not have. And there was a way. So when we passed, you know the way you pass billboard. And later on, when we're coming back, I positioned and I copied the number quickly. And I called the next day. And I said, hello, my name is Anne. I'm Mac-Anne. I'm an MC. I would like to anchor Anambra Talent Show. And the person was like, okay, let us meet. Because they were still trying to get team. They were trying to get put together a team. And that was how I joined the team. From there, I got connected to the Minister of Youth in Anambra State. I started working with him. I wrote his speeches and all these things were happening before NYSC came. So I would also say you need to know how to sell it, because nobody would buy what you don't even sell. And even if there's, and then utilizing social media, you need to know how to brand. So how do you brand yourself? You also need to invest in that thing. There's so many things I do today. I also run another organization called Things Connect Africa. I can tell you that is where I've been trying to buy so many things. And I tell my friend, why I've not bought these things? Because most of my money is always going in there. I have invested a lot. We got our first grant in 2022, and then last year we got another one and all that. There's a lot of things I can share, but top of the things I have said is you need to first of all take action on that. Action will get clarity. Another thing I said, you should get scaffolds. There might be things you might need to start doing temporary to help you sustain and get balance, so you don't crash along the way.
And do you know that sometimes these scaffolds that you get or that you build along the line, they help you build the character that will sustain you from where you're going to be.
Very, very true.
So many years from before now, I'm not a very vocal person. In fact, the person I was then and now very unrelatable. Because first of all, I don't even like what I studied. I didn't like it at that point. I thought I was just doing whatever it was I got at that time. But there was a bigger plan. Everyone wanted to be a lawyer, so I filled in to be a lawyer. I didn't even know what I wanted to be. But instead of law, they gave me theater and media art, and I'm like, who is going to start me? Like my teachers then in high school, they were always calling like, how are you going to cope? You're a very shy person. You're a very quiet person. What's going to happen to you now? You know. And from that point, I discovered that I was going to fail that course if I don't do what is required. Then gradually I realized maybe I was even meant to be here in the first place. Look at the job. And then we have worked somewhere. What? You know, look at the job, all the jobs I have done. And look at what I am, where I am now, and what I am preparing to do. it helped me understand that those things were the scaffolds. Like they helped me build.
They helped, and none of your experience is a waste.
It's not like never a
It's
waste.
not. It's preparing you for where you're going
Yes.
to, and that's why whatever your hand finds to do
Do
it
it
so
rightly.
well.
Do it.
So don't. I say people treat their job, which they feel like is their side hustle, they treat it with laxity.
Laxity.
Somebody is paying you, and you're just playing on the job. No, if you're not diligent with someone, if you're not diligent with someone's job, how would you want someone to work for you and work well for you?
You see this conversation.
speak my
I think
language.
it's like it's like
It's a recurring decimal now.
just this morning we were talking about how professionalism goes unrewarded
Right.
in the Nigerian system, in many Nigerian systems.
Yes.
So eye service sells,
Like,
unprofessionalism sells, where people use their mouth to do the job,
Right.
and then the employers believe the people. And this is one thing I would also like to chip in in what she's saying. If you know how to do something, and you bring a contribution to either an organization, to a table, to a sector, wherever you are, be loud about it.
yes.
See, nobody is ever going to just carry accolades and
I
give
give
to
you no.
Nobody will give to you. Have you been in situations where you know that you are the best at this thing, but they give the title to somebody
Yeah,
else?
the
Someone
world
else.
best kept secret.
Yeah,
It cannot be that.
just because you are quiet about what you do.
Right.
If there's one thing I'm learning, I'm still learning, because you know this social media thing. To God be the glory. Some of us don't just do it. It's not because it's bad, but if there's something you know how to do, be your first marketer. Sometimes when I see Funke Akindele online, that's one woman that I respect so much, and that's because she carries her matter on her head. For someone of that status, you know, imagine someone making over R1 billion from a movie, you know, that has not even gotten to the cinemas yet, you know. Someone making that amount of money and is still on Instagram making content here and there, dancing here and there, and
You need to
asking
sell in your market.
you need to carry it. You need to carry it on your head. And the first thing is, if you don't believe that you're able to do that thing, one thing I always will say here is, if you don't know who you are, people will tell you who you're not,
right.
and they'll force you to agree to who you're not.
True.
So the first step is understanding that this is who I am. This is where I am right now, and it's not bad to be here.
Yeah.
But what is bad is
Remaining there.
Well,
So that's just basically it.
another would also mean who are the people that you're talking to?
Yeah.
Which company are you in?
Yeah.
Maybe it's time
Association,
to change that
yeah.
company.
True.
And begin to have an impact, you know, that would gear you towards where you ought to be
Yeah.
and take you away from where you are
Yeah.
at the moment. But then there is something I'd like to throw at you
Okay.
as a question.
Okay.
yeah?
It's fine.
Now,
She's
I know someone who gave me a piece of advice, someone very close to me. Now, this person studied a different course. Like maybe let's take, for example, this person studied business administration, yeah? And then got a job that was very far from what he or she studied.
doing, yeah.
Now, trying to bring the passion into something that was not your passion from the very start. Now, business administration is this person's life. Like, all he thinks about is business. He knows how to, he's meticulous. He knows how to put things in
comes to
order,
that.
accounting, everything, he knows it. That's his passion, you know, and all of that. Now, he got a job that was not his passion, that had to do with safety. Keep making sure that, okay, these people wear the helmets and stuff like that. Do you know what he told me at some point? He said, I'd like you to comment on it. He said, sometimes when I saw that passion in what I want to do, right, it's not what is putting food on the table. I had to love what it was that I was doing and make it my passion, you know? And he said, don't forget it. Don't you forget this.
Yeah.
Can you unbundle that?
Okay, so talking about that passion, first of all, that's why I said passion is it's an emotion,
Right.
and emotions
Fickle.
they're fickle. They can fizzle away if you don't act on it.
Right.
You know, I told someone there was some time ago. I told her I love music. But then I didn't pursue it. And someone reached out to me on Facebook and said, you used to sing now. Why are you not singing?
Right.
I said, maybe, but I'm no longer passionate about this now.
Yeah.
So if you don't pay that's why passion cannot always be fully trusted as as a guide in making a decision. There's always, that's why I said your purpose is the bigger picture.
Yeah.
So the purpose is that thing why you're existing. The passion is something that gives you a clue. And most times people blindly, this is Nigeria. That's why when I'm writing that before you follow your dreams, our economy is not like that of the Western world, where you can just, that's what it is, when they say school na scam, my dear, I say go to that school, even if what you're studying, you don't like it, but that your certificate will open door for you that someone else, except your daddy is Dangote or DJ Kobe's dad, then you don't need to
change passion and change.
But for you, when you have a passion and it is not paying you, please don't die in hunger. You can die and that passion would fizzle away.
Someone else.
So I would say get something else. But there's some passion that are reoccurring. Those ones are they're somehow tied to your purpose. So those ones are the ones that won't let you, even if you're doing something else, they won't let you. It's more like they're hunting.
They find expression wherever you are.
So if your passion is not that type, you've discovered that you've checked Nigeria. You've checked, does this thing have a higher value? When you analyze that and you're seeing that there's no alignment, there's no long-term goal in line with that, you can switch. And when you do something over time and you put in an amount of excellence, you put in an amount of diligence in studying, in growing in that, you can become passionate about that thing. So passion should not always be trusted as say, I'm just passionate about. So because you're passionate about it, you will now just be going blindly.
And if it's not refined, if your passion is not refined,
and if you don't even turn it to skills,
you cannot serve it.
Skills is what people pay for. If you've not been able to think of what are the skills in line with this passion that I can develop and productize. Another thing is productize. You need to know how to turn your passion into product and services, because that is what people pay. Until you've been able to figure that out, look for something that pays you and use your extra time of your night
to grow.
While I was working in 9 to 5, my mom looks at me and she said, this girl does not sleep because I'm restless. Even before I even got a job, 2020 COVID was when I'm done with NYS, and for me to enter the work market, COVID came. And then everybody was on lockdown, and I said, nah, that restlessness in me, I worked on my own small office in my parents' house. I was working from there. I was constantly reading. Another thing is be knowledgeable in that passion. If you say your passion should drive you to invest in knowledge, invest in association, invest in developing it, invest in productizing it, invest in converting it to services, and it takes time. And until you're able to do that, get something else and do it well. So if you're passionate about it, that should now be something that can now keep you awake. When you do your job from 9 to 5 and you come back home, you eat, you sleep, you wake up by 10 a.m., you sit your ass on that passion and work it till 2 a.m., you sleep, and 8 a.m. So if your passion cannot make you commit to the discipline of this rigorous discipline, then you're not yet passionate about it.
The thing is, people keep people that are valuable to them. So people don't keep people that are passionate. Nobody keeps somebody who is passionate. In fact, I was listening to a message yesterday that said, nobody will keep you because you're loyal or you're passionate. If you're loyal, after loyalty, what do you bring? Maybe people will bask in the euphoria of your loyalty for a while, but nobody claps for anybody for one thing twice. You need to be able to progress for people to clap.
Innovation.
See, let me tell you something. I like to be so valuable that you cannot leave me. There are places I've worked. She's aware. That's my boss. Literally, we have stopped working together for over 5 years. But if there's something that is a project and he knows that there's someone who will follow through with it, he'll call you first to ask you, are you available to be on that project? Yes, I will. No, I will not. So your active income at a time can become a passive income because of your value. And because of your diligence in what you do. So many times, we leave a job and that's it about that job. I don't want to leave a job and the chapter of that job closes.
That's relationships. That's another thing I also talked about. The place of leveraging relationship is important.
So
Yeah, sorry.
No, go on.
Go on. You know, relationship is so important. If you're going to pursue your dreams, your passion, your vision, your purpose, it's so important because no one, God did not put us on earth, and you don't exist in silos. People are meant to interconnect. And when you have value, people perceive value. Value is something that even from afar we can sense it. We know who is a pest. We know who has something.
We know who we should keep, and we know who we should discard.
And it's very important. I see a lot of young persons who just who treat relationship. You're leaving the job. I mean, I've left different jobs, but for every job I have left, I still have a good relationship with them. And I just had my wedding last month. It was what just showed me the magnitude of
showed up,
the show up from previous organizations, from my bosses. Said me, I'm like, it's very important, not just for because it was but I have seen some of my purpose projects, some of the things I do when I put out something. But that place of relationship, and relationships are in three ways. I always say there's an upward relationship, there's a downward relationship, and then there's a sideways relationship. Now, the upward relationship is relationship with people who are above you. That's what we talk about, the role models, the mentors, and people who are higher than you. Have those people in your circle. They can be the voices of wisdom. It could also be your parents. And then another sideways relationship is the people at your level, your colleagues, your people. Because there's this thing that they say women don't support women. That I don't believe that. I have a lot of female friends. We lift each other up, and people sometimes I see people who get intimidated by their fellow counterparts. Your friend is doing well that you should be excited. You're beefing the person, and you're pursuing higher relationship. But there are people in your level. One thing I'm excited. My friends are just my level. We may not have all the money, but I know that they are going somewhere in the next 5-10 years. We would be at that level, but a lot of people wait. You see.
You think you will just get behind a relationship? It's built for you build it.
And so that's the sideways relationship. Look out for people. They may not have money now, but they're on your level. You're seeing the investment you're putting in. You're seeing how hardworking they are. You're seeing how committed they are. When they say, I will do this, they do it. Even if they may not show up with you and give you money for your birthday or for your wedding, but they would give you value. You're doing a project. You say, let me design your graphics for you. You say, let me edit your.
Do you get that?
Those are sideways. People at your level. Another relationship you should also have is people downwards. Who are you bringing up?
Pouring to people that you
who you're pointing to. You should be conscious of this as you grow. Always ask yourself, who are those upward, who are those sideways, and who is that 1, 2, 3, 4 person I am bringing up? Those components of relationships somehow adds up to your self-esteem. There are the things that when you think about when you sleep, especially your downward relation. I see people downward. We need to bring up people as you grow. Sometimes it's like, I'm not yet successful. Let me wait till I get to that point, and then I'll bring up. No, there's one young person there, 2 or 3 of them, either in your church or your siblings friend that you can just say hello when they come to see you, and then you point. So intentionally build this relationship, and it's going to help you in the long run. And for you to attract relationship, you need to be valuable, and value attracts value, and
iron sharpeneth iron.
Exactly.
And I think that's okay.
Yeah,
basically, we'll be wrapping.
Character, purpose, learning, and be a man or a woman of structure, right? People want to know that you are organized, that you've got their backs, that you can handle yourself first of all, and that they can depend on you and rely on you. These are the things that help you climb the ladder fast.
Very true.
And yes, just concluding the entire conversation, what I'd say is, like she said, you don't want to be in an environment that is full of strife. You know, you are competing with somebody. The moment I see myself competing with people, I walk away from there.
It's something you need to deal on.
It's just something we were saying. Like, if you're my friend, why do you have to lie about something? Why do you have to bring forth an appearance? You know that you are not, just because. So you cannot buy my friendship with loyalty, and I don't expect